Hi guys, it's Shan from Melbourne Foodforest. Now, after lots of requests, I'm going to do a tour just of our greenhouse, what's growing in there, what's worked well, what hasn't, and how have we planted it out this season. For more specifics on tomatoes and chilies, watch my other tours, which go into these in much more detail. This video will just cover the essence of what we like, don't like, and find challenging, or what we love about our greenhouse this season. Okay, first up you'll see a beautiful border of flowers. I've actually tried to be organised this season and we've got a really neat greenhouse which I'm proud of. It's neat and it's more functional than last season, which was our first summer growing with it. So you learn as you go and you adapt what works for your spaces. Like last year I had a row of tomatoes in the center here, and I found that they got too tall and shaded out this part of the greenhouse because our light mostly comes from that side, which is north, and that side which is west, afternoon sun. So I found that if the middle, where we've got pots here to make the most of space, if this gets going too quickly before these, then it starts to shade that out. So this year put shorter things in pots in the middle, which are all capsicums, peppers, chilies, and it's worked so much better. Tomatoes either side in both our raised beds at the back, two of them. Symmetry, got symmetry down our greenhouse, and I like that. So all tomatoes and then shorter plants in the center here. Under each tomato we've got marigolds and beautiful Italian basil. There's also some self-seeded borage here, which I chopped them down as manure but shot back up, so you know, gonna let it be happy here. Now, companion planting. People always ask me about it. What should I plant with what? There's not much science behind the companion planting that says tomatoes love basil and beans, but they don't like, you know, capsicum and eggplant. There's not a load of science behind it, in my opinion. You're best off focusing on diversity, you know, crop rotation if you can, of course, but diversity. Like, plant different things. They work in harmony, and make sure you've always got flowers. Flowers are just not just a pretty face, they're a food source. Food source for our insects and our predatory insects in particular. So this is the first year I've put flowers on the border in our greenhouse because, you know, I forgot how important they were, even in a greenhouse. We shouldn't underestimate that. Greenhouse, if anything, needs it more than anything. It can be more contained and have less beneficial insects. So it's actually more important, not less. This is the view looking from inside out. No less beautiful. Now, a couple of basics of greenhouse growing. Where we are in Australia in summer, shade is so vital. And I'll have a separate video on how we cool our greenhouse. I'll show you some of the tips that we do today. Greenhouses are so valuable. They're always our earliest and latest tomato because they keep more even temperatures. And in Melbourne, we're known to have 4 seasons in one day at any time of the year. So having a more consistent temperature and more consistent environment for plants leads to less stress. Because if you have constantly changing conditions as we do here, it could be winter in the morning and spring by lunchtime and summer by the afternoon, which is very much how today has panned out. It was raining, cold and dreary in the morning, and now it's like super hot. So, you know, plants spend all their time adapting outdoors. Whereas in the greenhouse, you kind of cut away some of the variability and give them a better chance to just focus on producing fruit and flourishing. I find in our climate, at least one of the biggest advantages of greenhouse growing is cutting out wind. So even if it's blowing a gale out there, I can close the doors and it's like peace and tranquility in here. You can check out one of our other videos, which was a bit, you know, trying to show you the impact of a storm and how, you know, in a greenhouse, yeah, it's actually a really nice environment. I'll put a link above if you want to watch that. It's a bit funny, bit of a comedy. So that's a huge advantage for us, cutting out wind. So you can see we plant our greenhouse quite densely. So one of the main features I want to talk about on this wall. This is the wall that gets all the western afternoon sun, so it could turn the greenhouse into an oven in summer. Things can bake. Shade is so important, so we have put up our natural shade cloth outside because we had a crazy heat wave recently in Melbourne and we just left it up. But we also use natural shade, and don't underestimate that because that's so valuable too. Let's talk natural shade. So we've got bitter melon growing along this wall to provide us with western shade. It doesn't even flinch. When we didn't have our shade cloth on and the temperatures in here got to 45 degrees, it doesn't even flinch. So find a true tropical. Mine, last year we did hyacinth bean and that went nuts and took over. So I learnt from that might be a bit too vigorous, maybe too much shade, but you know, if you pruned it heavily, that could work. So I love to grow things that have more than one function, and that's, you know, one of the basic permaculture principles. But it's also common sense, you know, why not do more with less? So get a yield, grow something that gives you food and gives you shade as well. And at the end of the season, you chop that in and it becomes compost too. So I'll just show you this bit of melon. So they're not actually meant to be orange, but we left this one on to see some seeds. So that's turned an insane color of orange. Really cool. And you can see the leaves are really beautiful. I love how that vine looks. More baby flowers on the way. So that's another reason to plant companion flowers, because like other gourds, zucchinis, these are male and female flowers. So you either need to hand pollinate, especially if your greenhouse, you know, you're not opening the doors and the ventilation that much. Hand pollinate, or you need to encourage bees and other insects to come and pollinate for you. You know, many insects do it, ants and even flies. So that's providing a lot of natural shade, and I hope that takes off and we get more fruit. I mean, there could be hidden fruit on there. Did notice some of the bitter melons until they were much bigger. Another crazy thing going on here. There's been a few self-seeded pumpkins and I've left them. I've left them and pruned them because I'm actually really curious to see what they are. And so this year, all our self-seeded pumpkin have been either curry, which that one is, so cute, or tromboncino. Look at this. Self-seeded tromboncino. So we're training that up. Again, more natural shade. I will need to prune to keep that in check. But yeah, baby fruit already. Now, a few points about greenhouse design. Obviously, you want to ensure that your paths are wide enough for you to comfortably walk through. Yet, you know, obviously we want to make the most of this scarce space in this amazing microclimate. So for us, we found the best thing was, you know, quite narrow paths. We're not big people, so we can cram a lot in. Make sure you use the different heights and levels. So we do have shelves across here where we're still raising more summer seedlings for a late summer crop. So another batch of zucchinis and tromboncino. And we can also, of course, put winter seedlings on here once we get there. But the shelves also act as a trellis for the tomatoes to climb through, which works really well. In-ground beds in this section here, and then wider beds there that are raised. You know, we just happen to have those, so we wanted to make use of them, and it makes sense to put them inside. So it's a bit wider here, easier to get in, and then a bit narrower in that section, and we don't have pots down the middle there, only in this section. So it still gives us comfortable walking room, yet making the most of our space. Show you back here, so more tomatoes, and then shorter growing plants under the tomatoes in this section. So there are a few types of basil. There's holy basil, and it's meant to be a lemon basil, but it looks just like Italian basil again. So I am not sure. So type of basil. There, eggplants, your short eggplants here, and your capsicums, short growing ones. So one point about plants in the greenhouse is, because the walls naturally provide some shade, so about 20%, be aware that any plant growing in the greenhouse is going to be taller Less light means taller plants, lankier, and any leaves are going to be much bigger and more succulent because there's less harsh light, so they go grow bigger to photosynthesize. So you can use this to your advantage. If you want to grow leafy greens in here, they tend to be lusher and give you more leaves to enjoy. So you can see here our tomatoes in greenhouses are like 2 meters tall, even if it's the same variety compared to what we grow outside. And the reason being, less light, taller growth, so it can look like a forest of tomatoes in here. It's impressive in that respect. And leafier things grow bigger too. So like this edamame, we've got one outside, quite a few plants outside, like half the height. These are really tall, but crazy productive in here. Beans clearly thrive in these humid and consistently warm conditions. Like, I mean, look how many pods that's got. That's insane. From just two plants here, sharing the under canopy of our tomatoes. So that's layering in action. And the other quirk of greenhouse growing, which might seem obvious, but sometimes isn't, is that you don't get water in it when it rains. So the greenhouse is 100% reliant on us, or me, for watering. And that's dangerous. I wouldn't put my life, if my life depended on me watering, I would be worried. Just being so time poor with kids and other jobs and hobbies, it's tough. So you need to put in a good watering system. In the greenhouse we use soaker hoses. Outside we use drip irrigation, but the greenhouse just gets so dry because it never gets rainfall. So even if there's a downpour outside, it'll never get that. So soaker hoses water much more consistently than do drip, which is every 30 centimeters, and you got these dry patches, the edges are dry, everything's dry. So these soaker hoses are wound quite a few layers through this bed. So we've actually got soaker hoses snaked throughout all of our beds. Much more consistent watering, quicker as well, and wets almost the whole bed. Got a water tank just outside our greenhouse there, which is connected to our greenhouse gutters, and the water goes into that tank. So that water is used to water in the greenhouse. And you just hook that right up to these soaker hoses. And until we set up the watering system, it was quite difficult to keep up the hand watering in the greenhouse because it gets dry quicker, it's warmer and drier. So yeah, soaker hoses all the way along, they're really great. At the back here, we've got a massive turmeric plant. So your greenhouse is obviously a wonderful place to grow your tropicals and subtropicals. This could go outside too, but we have one outside and it's like about this big. This one is gigantic, it's over 1 meter tall already. And it's great for overwintering chilies, capsicums. Some areas you might be able to overwinter eggplants, tricky in our area, but definitely your warmth loving plants like turmeric and stevia, even tarragon. Yeah, big, beautiful plant. And another self-seeded pumpkin in that corner there. Got really unusual leaves, that one, so I'm wanting to see what it is. So train it up. Vertical, use all the vertical space in your greenhouse. There's lots of it. And ventilation is another critical thing for your greenhouse. I will have a more specific video just on how to cool your greenhouse, but suffice to say that's something you really need to pay attention to and have good airflow. That not only helps to keep your greenhouse at a reasonable temperature in really hot weather, but it's also vital for preventing fungal diseases like mildew, molds on your plants, which will become a real issue in a stagnant and warm environment and humid environment like a greenhouse. So we in summer leave all our vents and doors open all the time, and that helps with pollination as well, attracting good insects in. So those were the main features I wanted to cover in this tutorial today. I'll do more advanced greenhouse growing techniques, focusing on specific issues, and feel free to drop a comment if there's something you want to learn about. But yeah, I hope that gives you some, good basic design tips to think about incorporating in your greenhouse. And finally, I'll just finish off with talking about the outside of a greenhouse. Don't underestimate how much growing space you have. This greenhouse is a climbing frame. I see opportunities on every surface, and that's how we treat it. So we do train a summer spinach each year up our greenhouse. Slight shade, very ornamental and pretty, but also edible and functional. So this is our Malabar spinach, and we have nowhere else to train it, so greenhouse is a perfect surface for this. Well, I hope you found that useful, and thank you for watching. As always, if you enjoyed, please do cultivate the like button and subscribe to our channel. This helps support us to make more educational tutorials for you. As I mentioned, there'll be lots more on the way about greenhouse growing, and also you can check out our more detailed tours of the tomatoes and the capsicum, peppers and chilies that we're growing. It's just way too much to show you in one, so they've all got their separate tours. So thank you again for watching, and until next time.